So, welcome back to the Canada Specialist Program series, kicking off, as I mentioned, with Joanne, our local representative for Destination British Columbia. Joanne, looking forward to all this new stuff. I will hand over to you.
Thanks, Charlie. Thanks everybody for joining today. As Charlie mentioned, I am the country manager for Australia and New Zealand, spending some of my time over in New Zealand and some of my time in Sydney. So thank you for joining us. So what I thought I'd do today is the last time we caught up or I did a webinar, we were talking about the Rockies to rainforest. So I thought I'd just do a bit of an update about things that are new or newish and some of the big events coming up in British Columbia in the next while for you. So off we go. Anybody on the call who may not be familiar with who we are, where we are, so we're the province on the west side of Canada. And Vancouver is our gateway city with direct flights from Sydney, Brisbane, and Auckland. If we've got anybody from Melbourne on the call, just know we're still championing trying to get that direct flight from Melbourne back to Vancouver for you. So just a little bit of a deeper dive, again, for geography. Vancouver is the gateway city. You can see it on the map. We've also got Victoria, which is on Vancouver Island. Victoria is the capital of British Columbia. We have a lot of people that might come over visiting from Australia and decide to come up through the US. So Seattle is on the map there, and it's about a 3-hour drive with a car or a coach from Seattle to Vancouver. So you might have clients coming in that way. And then off to the east side of the province of British Columbia is Alberta, and one of the cities is Calgary. So if you've got clients traveling on the east side of British Columbia, they may fly into Vancouver or Calgary and then travel into the Rocky Mountains and on to British Columbia that way. So you get a bit of a geography sense there. So first up is my list of events and sporting events, small and large, coming to British Columbia. So pretty excited. We've got quite a bit going on. And I like to point these out because you get some clients who want to go to some of these things and some clients who would like to avoid some of these things. So when you're planning those holidays for your clients, you'll know maybe why you can't get a hotel in Vancouver for a certain day of the week, maybe a year out from now or 2 years out. So I get asked probably every week by travel agents about the ice hockey schedule and where to watch the ice hockey. So the NHL started actually today in Vancouver. Tonight the Canucks are playing, and that hockey season goes right through till April next year. So there's that option. There's also the WHL, that's the Western Hockey League. So these are the hockey players that are 16 to 20 years old. So a lot of them are going to end up in the NHL. We have teams in Victoria, Vancouver, Kelowna, and Kamloops. Their season has already started this month and goes right through to March next year. So the great thing about that league is it's a little bit cheaper. It's a little bit more of a family-oriented event. So it's a great place to go watch an ice hockey game if you have a family or on the budget. Next up, we have the Grey Cup Festival. Pardon me. So this is Canada's Gridiron Grand Final as such. It's November this year and it's in Vancouver. I love the Grey Cup Festival because it's a week of parties and parades and live music and entertainment and a football game. So something maybe you have clients going at that time of year want to jump in on, or maybe not. Then we've got the Luge World Championships coming up in February next year in Whistler. And one of our bigger events is the Invictus Games. The first ever Winter Invictus will be next February in Vancouver and Whistler. So no doubt you'll see Prince Harry all over the media, skiing down the hill in Whistler, or maybe he's sipping a cocktail in Vancouver. And then we have our 11th season of the Rugby Sevens coming to Vancouver, and that's February also next year. And finally, the gigantic big event is the FIFA Men's World Cup, and that is being shared between Canada, the US, and Mexico in 2026. So June and July 2026. Schedule is already out. The teams have not been decided in the pools yet, but you can see the Vancouver games are in June and July. So what that's going to mean is if you've got clients cruising at that time of year, you might have a challenge getting rooms in Vancouver on those specific dates. So just note that for those cruise clients or any of those clients coming through Vancouver in 2026. So let's start with some of the new hotels and lodges around the province. So the first one on my list is Azure. So this is one of leading hotels of the world. properties, and it's the only one they do have in Western Canada. So it's a higher end luxury, 105 rooms. It's right down in the center of the city. I haven't been in the hotel yet, but I'm over there in November and hopefully I'll be able to check it out. It's got apparently a very good rooftop bar. Um, Second up is the Wedge Mountain Lodge and Spa. This is in Whistler. When I read about this property, I thought about it's something that the Hemsworth family would probably rent out because it's 12,000 square feet. There's 10 bedrooms, 20 guests. It's got private sauna, steam room, gym, massage rooms, hot tubs, pools, state-of-the-art movie theater, wine cellar, poker and billiard room, a bar, and a children's area. So you get it's only for certain clients that would want that. Um, and then we've got a new range of properties called Base Camp Resorts. So they are popping up around British Columbia and Alberta's mountain towns. So we've got one in Golden, a couple opening up in that have opened up in Revelstoke, and we've got a new one coming to Fernie next year. So if you jump on their website, they're all sort of luxury suites, modern amenities, and they're sort of factoring in that work from anywhere culture and longer ski stays. And so you see there's lots of places to pop up your laptop and do some work in a sort of common area. So some more properties that are new this year. West Coast Wilderness Lodge on the Sunshine Coast has built onto their existing property with a whole new section. And the photos on the right are some of the rooms. And then Rosemead House is a property from 1906. It was called the Old English Inn, and it's been completely gutted, renovated to be high-end luxury. They've gone and bought everything for inside the hotel and outside from the UK, like five-star dishes from the Savoy Hotel, furniture from the Dorchester, and they've even bought the gates that were supposed to be the Buckingham Palace gates from the Crown TV series for the front of the property. We've also got the Michelin Key Hotel. So you might know Michelin as the list of outstanding restaurants in the world. Well, they've also started outstanding hotels in the world, and they've just released their top 33 hotels for Canada, of which 11 of them are in British Columbia. And you can see the list here, everything from Clayoquot Wilderness Lodge, which is owned by Bailey Lodges, Australian, on Vancouver Island, all the way through to the Fairmonts, Four Seasons, etc. So we've got a great list here of some of our best properties in British Columbia, and a lot of them are in really unique and interesting settings. Newly renovated in the past year is the Rosewood Hotel in Vancouver. They've had some extensive renovations. That's right downtown. We've also got the YWCA for somebody that's maybe on the other end of the budget scale. So I looked up hotel room prices. They've got single rooms starting at $129 a night. So some really inexpensive right downtown property. They've got 65 new rooms in the property, 155 refreshed rooms. And you can see a photo there of one of the internal of the rooms. They're really decent, nice rooms. 100% of the profits of this hotel go back to their community programs. And then we also have the Hilton Hotel in Whistler. They are renovating the public spaces, the bars, and the restaurants area. So you should see some new cool things coming up. Revelstoke has renovated what was a Motel 6 to it's a VRGE hotel, and you can see a photo of it in my photos here, and the internals photo there as well. So it's again really modernized, something that was cheap and cheerful to something that's a little bit more comfortable and modern. And then finally, Souk Harbor House is a property that's on Vancouver Island, about 30 minutes from Victoria, right on the water. It's a beautiful property. It was always well known as a place for the food scene. And after 4 years of gutting it completely, this is what some of the rooms inside are looking like. So speaking of food, there are lots of new bars and restaurants. It's hard to keep up with the list. So I've named a number of them, and I will send this whole list out to you afterwards, because it's always good to have a few heads ups for your clients of different places to eat and drink. As I mentioned, the Azura Hotel has a fabulous rooftop bar called the Sky Bar and a new restaurant. Prophecy is a new bar inside the Rosewood Hotel. So Rosewood also has a rooftop bar, but it has a speakeasy bar, and it's being called one of the best cocktail lounges in the city right now. Some of the best bartenders are working there. So a cool place to check out. We have a new Indigenous inspired restaurant in the Squamish Lillooet Cultural Center up in Whistler called Raven's Nest. And in the Four Seasons up in Whistler, they've opened the Library, which is a speakeasy whiskey bar. We've got a new Italian restaurant and a new bakery in Big White. And I mentioned Michelin Guide restaurants, of which we've got quite a few now in Vancouver. They've got their own guidebook, and there are 3 new restaurants being revealed on October 3rd to add to that list. So pop onto the website if you want to know more about that. Another just handful of new restaurants that have opened up this year in Vancouver specifically. We've got a new Peruvian restaurant that's one of the Michelin star restaurants. It's the only one in Canada. We've got new sushi, Belgium, Vietnamese. We've got an Indigenous restaurant at Vancouver Airport called Salmon and Bannock. And that's the only Indigenous restaurant at any airport in Canada. And then we've got a new cafe that's opened up just outside of Vancouver in Fort Langley inside the National Historic Site. That's just a photo for you of what the Squamish Lillooet Cultural Center looks like. And on to attractions. So we've got quite a few attractions. I'm going to go through quickly and I'll send the list out after because I'm going to run out of time. But we've got Prince of Wales, who do whale watching tours in Vancouver, are doing sunset fireworks cruise tours in July for the International Fireworks Festival. Another really hot one is Harbour Air's new Butchart Garden Flights and Flowers. So it takes off and departs and arrives back in Vancouver, and you fly over to the Butchart Gardens in Victoria. You get 2 hours on the ground at the gardens. So the whole trip's about a 3-hour trip. There's heli tour packages operating for pre and post cruise clients where they'll store the luggage off the ship and you can do the tours. And the list goes on. Downtown Asian Eats with Vancouver Foodie Tours is on my list of things I'm doing next when I go to Vancouver. And again, there's a number of other, for some reason, everybody wants to have a solar coaster at their resorts. We've got a few new solar coasters in Panorama, Revelstoke that have opened up this summer. We've got new mountain biking at Grouse Mountain, Panorama, Fernie that's opened up this summer as well. This is Malahat, not quite new, but newish, very popular, 30 minutes north of Victoria on Vancouver Island. And Golden has a new sky bridge. It's getting newish. It's open in the last few years, but also proving popular. I grabbed these photos right off Instagram. So you get the idea. And then last but not least, we have a travel trade dedicated page on our website now. So our Hello BC website, I'll put this in the chat for you. We've got everything on here, images, video, B-roll. But my absolute favorite thing is we've got itineraries, suggested itineraries. There's a whole booklet of them, super helpful for your different ideas for your clients. You can download them. We've got the cruise ship schedules, a whole bunch of different information for you guys to access. So I'll send that over to you in the follow-up as well as a link. And last but not least, I just thought I'd show you this photo taken very recently at Sonora Resort by the one and only Julie King from Destination Canada, who was out there bear spotting because the salmon are running and the bears are happy because they're getting fat for hibernation this winter. So that is live and on location. Thank you. That's all for me.
Fabulous. Thank you. Always good to finish on a bear photo.
That's right.